Help me! A poor black man saved a millionaire from a crashing SUV. And she fell in love. The California sun was blazing at 4:47 p.m. when everything changed. Veronica Whitfield was speeding down Highway 91 in her custom white Mercedes G-Wagon, arguing with her father on the Bluetooth about another arranged dinner with a Patterson family's son. A merger disguised as romance. "I don't care about his Harvard MBA, Daddy," she snapped, her perfectly manicured fingers gripping the wheel. "I'm 28, not a business acquisition." She never saw the 18-wheeler's blown tire bouncing across the highway until it was too late. The massive rubber slammed into her front wheel at 70 miles per hour. The SUV lurched violently, flipped twice, and crashed upside down into the concrete barrier. The sound of crushing metal and shattering glass echoed across 8 lanes of traffic. Deshaun Bridges was exhausted. His shift at the Amazon warehouse had started at 3 a.m., and he just clocked out after 14 brutal hours of loading trucks in 90-degree heat. His 1999 Honda Civic's air conditioning had died 2 summers ago. Fixing it meant not eating for a month. He was thinking about the community college homework waiting at home when he saw the accident happen right in front of him. The Mercedes looked like a crushed soda can. Smoke poured from its hood. Other drivers were already pulling out phones, some filming, others calling 911. But Deshaun saw something they didn't. A thin stream of gasoline spreading across the asphalt. "Oh, hell no," he muttered, yanking his car to the shoulder. Inside the wreck, Veronica hung upside down, blood rushing to her head. Her blonde hair was tangled in the deployed airbag, her $3,000 dress torn and stained with blood from the glass. The seatbelt cut into her chest, refusing to release no matter how hard she pressed the button. "Help!" she screamed, but her voice was lost in the chaos of traffic. "Somebody please, help me." The smell hit her then. Gasoline, thick and close. Her father's voice still droned from the Bluetooth, asking if she was still there. She could see flames beginning to lick at the engine block. Deshaun dropped to his knees beside the driver's window, ignoring the broken glass cutting through his worn jeans. Through the spider-webbed window, he saw her, a young white woman, probably rich based on the car and clothes, terror etched across her face. Ma'am, can you hear me?" He pounded on the window frame. Veronica's green eyes locked onto his brown ones. "Please, I can't get out. The belt—" "Hold on." Deshaun pulled out the pocket knife he used for breaking down boxes at work. The blade was dull from use, but it would have to do. "I'm gonna cut you free, all right? Try to brace yourself." He punched out the remaining glass with his elbow, wrapping his work shirt around his hand. The heat from the engine was intense now, sweat pouring down his face as he reached inside. His calloused fingers found the seatbelt, sawing desperately at the fabric. "What's your name?" he asked, trying to keep her calm. Veronica. "I'm Deshaun. We're gonna get you out, Veronica. Just keep looking at me, okay?" The belt finally gave way. Veronica dropped hard onto the roof, crying out in pain. "Now grab my hands. We gotta move now." She reached for him, their fingers interlocking. Deshaun pulled with everything he had, his muscles screaming from the day's labor. Veronica scraped through the window frame just as the flames reached the gas tank. "Run!" Deshaun grabbed her around the waist, half carrying her away from the vehicle. They'd made it maybe 20 feet when the SUV exploded. The force threw them forward, Deshaun instinctively turning to shield her body with his. They hit the asphalt hard, his back taking the impact. "Hello, my Stop Racism family. Thank you for tuning in today. Before we dive deeper into this beautiful love story, I want to hear from you. Where are you watching from? Drop your country and state in the comments below. Also, I'd love to know your thoughts. What did you think of the story so far? Do you believe love can truly conquer prejudice? Let us know in the comments. We love reading them. And trust me, your words motivate us to keep making these videos. Let's make this video reach at least 50 comments. Your support means the world to us, and it drives us to create even more meaningful content for you. So don't forget to comment, share, and keep spreading love. The heat from the explosion washed over them in waves. Deshaun's back felt like it was on fire, his work uniform singed and smoking. But the woman in his arms was alive, sobbing into his chest. "You're okay," he whispered, not sure if he was reassuring her or himself. "You're safe now." Veronica pulled back to look at her savior. He was young, maybe early 30s, with exhausted eyes and a face covered in soot and sweat. His uniform had a name tag, Deshawn, and the Amazon Smile logo looked almost ironic given their situation. Everything her father had warned her about those people from that side of Los Angeles. Yet this stranger had just risked everything for her. Sirens wailed closer. News vans were already arriving, reporters jumping out with cameras. Deshawn started to stand, wincing. "Wait." Veronica grabbed his arm. "You're hurt." "I'm fine, ma'am. You should..." "Stop calling me ma'am. I'm probably younger than you." She struggled to stand, her designer heels long gone. "And you're not fine. You're bleeding." She was right. Glass had shredded his arms, and a nasty burn marked his shoulder where debris had hit. But Deshawn was already backing away as the paramedics rushed over. "Please," Veronica called out. "What's your last name? How can I find you?" "You don't need to. Just be safe, all right?" The EMT swept her away before she could respond. As they loaded her into the ambulance, she watched Deshawn limp back to his beat-up Honda, head down, avoiding the cameras. A hero disappearing into the background. Just another black man in a work uniform that society would overlook. At Cedars-Sinai Hospital, Veronica was treated like royalty. The Whitfield name carried weight. Her father owned half the commercial real estate in Beverly Hills. Harrison Whitfield himself arrived within the hour, his silver hair perfectly styled despite his panic. "My baby girl?" He crushed her in a hug. "When I heard the explosion over the phone, Daddy, the man who saved me. We need to find him." Harrison pulled back. "The police said it was some warehouse worker. I've already had Garrett prepare a thank you check." "A check?" Veronica felt something cold settle in her stomach. 20,000. More than generous. Harrison's tone suggested the matter was closed. "Now let's focus on getting you home." But Veronica couldn't stop thinking about those brown eyes, full of concern for a stranger. The way he'd shielded her from the explosion without hesitation. How many people would have just kept driving? 3 days later, Veronica sat in her father's home office in their Bel Air mansion, her arms still in a sling. She'd hired a private investigator without telling her father. "Deshawn Bridges," the investigator read from his report. 31 years old. Lives in a studio apartment in Inglewood. Works at the Amazon Fulfillment Center in San Bernardino. That's a 90-minute commute each way. No criminal record, not even a parking ticket. What else? Mother passed 2 years ago. Heart attack at work. She was a janitor at 3 different office buildings. No father listed. He's taking night classes at Los Angeles City College. Business management. Veronica stared at the grainy photo the investigator had found. Deshawn's work ID. Even in the terrible lighting, there was something kind about his face. His address? The investigator hesitated. "Ms. Whitfield, that's not the best neighborhood. Maybe you should just mail..." "His address, please." The next morning, Veronica drove her backup BMW through streets her GPS kept trying to reroute her around. The apartment building was worse than she'd imagined. Graffiti-covered walls, barred windows, a group of young men eyeing her car suspiciously. She climbed to the 4th floor, her Louboutin heels clicking on concrete stairs that reeked of urine. Apartment 4B had a crooked number and 3 locks. Deshawn answered in basketball shorts and an old Lakers shirt, clearly just woken from sleeping off a night shift. His eyes went wide. "Veronica? What? How did you..." He looked past her at the hallway. "You shouldn't be here. May I come in?" He hesitated, embarrassed. It's really not. Please." The studio was maybe 300 square feet. A mattress on the floor, a card table with textbooks, a hot plate for a kitchen. But it was spotlessly clean, and there were books everywhere. Business, economics, self-improvement. Photos covered one wall. Him, with an older woman who had the same kind eyes. "Your mother?" "Yeah." His voice softened. "She would have liked you. She always said you could tell a person's character by what they do when no one's watching." Veronica turned to face him. "The check my father sent. Did you get it?" Deshawn laughed bitterly. "It bounced. The bank teller looked at me like I was trying to pull something. $20,000 check from Harrison Whitfield? To me? She actually called security. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. It's fine. I didn't save you for money. Then why? She genuinely wanted to know. You could have died. Deshawn was quiet for a moment. My mom used to come home from cleaning offices, dead on her feet, and still help elderly neighbors with groceries. She'd say, "Baby, we might not have much, but we got our humanity. Nobody can take that. When I saw your car flip, I just heard her voice. 'Let me buy you breakfast,' Veronica said. 'Please, I need to thank you properly. You don't owe me anything. It's not about owing. I want to. Unless,' she hesitated, 'unless you're uncomfortable being seen with me.' That made him smile. 'You're worried about being seen with me?' 'No. I don't want to assume. There's a place 2 blocks over. Fair warning, it's not exactly Bel Air brunch.' Rosa's Café was a tiny Mexican restaurant where everyone greeted Deshawn by name. The waitress, an older Latina woman, raised her eyebrows at Veronica but brought them coffee without asking. "Mija, you eat today?" she asked Deshawn in accented English. "Yes, Rosa. This is Veronica." "Veronica, Rosa basically adopted me when I moved here." "Someone has to feed you," Rosa muttered, eyeing how thin he was. "You want the usual?" Veronica had never had chorizo and eggs before. She'd never sat in a vinyl booth held together with duct tape or drunk coffee from a chipped mug. But Deshawn was different here. Relaxed, smiling, joking with the other regulars in broken Spanish. "Tell me about the night classes," she said. His eyes lit up. "I'm trying to get my degree. Taking 2 classes per semester. It's all I can afford, but in maybe 4 years, I'll have my bachelor's. Then I want to start my own business." "What kind?" "Logistics, but different. See, places like Amazon, they treat workers like robots. Quotas that make you pee in bottles, no air conditioning, injuries all the time. I want to create something better. Proves you can profit and treat people right." His passion was infectious. Veronica found herself leaning forward, asking questions. He had notebooks full of business plans, had studied every successful logistics company, had ideas about profit sharing and employee ownership. "That's brilliant," she said, meaning it. "It's a dream." He shrugged. "But dreams don't pay rent. My father always says the best businesses solve problems people didn't know they had. Your father would laugh me out of the room. You don't know him." "I know enough. Harrison Whitfield doesn't become a billionaire by caring about warehouse workers." He was right, and they both knew it. But something was happening as they talked. A connection sparking between 2 people who should never have met. Over the next 3 weeks, Veronica found herself returning to Rosa's Café. She'd tell her father she was at Pilates or shopping, then drive to Inglewood. Deshawn would be there after his night classes, exhausted but always smiling when he saw her. "You know, people are starting to talk," he said one evening, gesturing to the other customers watching them. "Let them." "Veronica," his voice was serious. "What are we doing here?" "Having coffee." "You know what I mean. You're Harrison Whitfield's daughter. I load boxes for a living. This isn't some movie where..." "Where what?" "Where 2 people from different worlds can't be friends." "Friends." He tested the word. "Is that what we are?" She looked at him, really looked at him, the way his eyes crinkled when he laughed, how he always made sure she got to her car safely, the way her heart sped up when she saw his beat-up Honda already in the parking lot. "I don't know," she admitted. "I just know that talking to you is the best part of my week, Veronica. My father wants me to marry Sterling Patterson. Did you know that? Good family, good breeding, like I'm a horse or something. We'd have beautiful white children and live in a beautiful white neighborhood, and I'd slowly die inside. And I'm your rebellion? No." She reached across the table, took his hand. "You're the first real thing in my life." That night, Harrison was waiting when she got home. Charlotte, her mother, sat beside him looking concerned. "Where have you been?" "With a friend. The Martinez family saw you. In Inglewood. With that man." Veronica felt her spine straighten. "That man saved my life. And I'm grateful," Harrison said coldly. "But gratitude doesn't mean you throw away your future. People like him." "People like him what, Daddy?" "They're not like us, Veronica. Different values, different culture, different..." "Just say it. Different color." Charlotte interjected. Sweetheart, we're not racist. We donate to the NAACP. We support diversity initiatives. As long as that diversity stays in its place, right? As long as it doesn't sit at our dinner table. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think. Deshaun knew he was falling for her. It hit him one night as he watched her eat Rosa's homemade flan, laughing at some story about a charity gala gone wrong. She had no idea how beautiful she was in that moment. No pretense, no performance, just Veronica. What? She asked, noticing his stare. Nothing. You've got... He reached over, wiped a bit of caramel from her lip. Time stopped, his thumb on her skin, their eyes locked. Then she leaned forward and kissed him. It was soft, tentative, question and answer all at once. When they pulled apart, the entire restaurant was staring. I should go, Veronica whispered. Yeah. Neither moved. Deshaun, I know. Me too. They kissed again, deeper this time, not caring who saw. Rosa made a comment in Spanish that made the kitchen staff laugh. Outside by her car, reality set in. My father will disown me, Veronica said. My neighbors already think I'm trying to be something I'm not. So what do we do? Deshaun cupped her face gently. I don't know. I just know that when I pulled you from that car, I thought I was saving your life. Turns out you might be saving mine. That's a terrible line. Yeah? Yeah. But it's working. They laughed, kissed again, and for a moment, the world and all its prejudices didn't matter. The confrontation came 2 days later. Harrison had hired a private investigator of his own. You're in love with him, he said, throwing photos on his desk. Veronica and Deshaun kissing outside Rosa's. Yes. The simple admission seemed to break something in Harrison. I've worked my entire life to give you opportunities. The best schools, the best connections, the best cage. That's not fair, isn't it? When have I ever gotten to choose anything? My clothes, my car, my career, my friends, all selected for maximum social impact. And this man? Is he your choice or your way of punishing me? His name is Deshaun, and he's the first person who's ever seen me as just Veronica. Not the Whitfield heiress, not a merger opportunity, just me. Harrison stood. If you continue this relationship, I'll cut you off. No trust fund, no job at the foundation, nothing. You do that? Over his skin color? I do that to protect you from ruining your life. That night, Veronica appeared at Deshaun's door with tears streaming down her face. Hey, what happened? She told him about the ultimatum. Deshaun held her as she cried, then pulled back. You should go home. What? Veronica, I can't let you give up everything for me. That's not fair. Don't you dare make this choice for me. Look around. He gestured at his tiny apartment. This is my life. Ramen noodles and 12-hour shifts and praying my car starts. You deserve better. I deserve someone who loves me. And I do. God, I do. That's why I'm letting you go. No. She stood, fierce now. You don't get to give up on us. Not after making me believe in something real. The Whitfield Foundation's annual gala was the social event of the season. 500 of Los Angeles' elite gathered at the Beverly Hilton, raising millions for charity while networking over champagne. Veronica arrived alone, wearing a stunning black dress. Her parents were already holding court, her father notably cold when she kissed his cheek. The Pattersons are here, Charlotte whispered. Sterling's been asking about you. Veronica was about to respond when the ballroom doors opened. Deshaun walked in, wearing a perfectly tailored tuxedo, head high, ignoring the stares and whispers. He walked straight to her. You left this at my apartment. He handed her her grandmother's bracelet. She'd left it on purpose, hoping he'd have to return it. How did you get in? Rosa's son works catering. He added me to the list. He smiled. Dance with me. Deshaun, everyone's watching. Let them watch. He led her onto the dance floor. The band was playing something slow and classic. Deshaun held her close, whispering in her ear. I couldn't let you go. These past 3 days without you, I can't do it. My father will have to accept it, because I'm not going anywhere. They danced, oblivious to the crowd. Some watched in disgust, others in curiosity. But a few, younger couples, Interracial couples who'd hidden their relationships watched with hope. Sterling Patterson approached, tapping Deshawn's shoulder. "Mind if I cut in?" "Actually, I do." Deshawn's voice was calm but firm. "Do you know who I am?" "Someone who's interrupting." Sterling's face reddened. "Listen, boy. Finish that sentence," Deshawn said quietly. "Please, give me the excuse." Veronica stepped between them. "Sterling, go away. Your father will hear about this." "Good." As Sterling stormed off, the crowd parted. Harrison Whitfield stood there, face unreadable. "Mr. Bridges, a word?" Harrison led Deshawn to a private balcony. The lights of Los Angeles spread below them. "You know I could destroy you," Harrison said conversationally. "One phone call, you'd lose your job, your apartment, your college enrollment. Probably, but you're still here." "Yes, sir." "Why?" Deshawn thought for a moment. "When I was 15, I watched my mom come home crying because her boss called her the help in front of his dinner guests. She'd worked for him for 10 years. I promised myself I'd never let anyone make me feel less than human. But I also promised I'd never run from something worth fighting for. And my daughter is worth fighting for? Your daughter makes me want to be better than I am. She sees potential in me that I didn't know existed. So yeah, she's worth whatever you throw at me." Harrison sipped his whiskey. "I came from nothing, you know. People forget that. My father was a mechanic in Ohio. I didn't know that, because I've spent 40 years erasing it, becoming someone who belonged in rooms like this." He gestured at the gala. "And now my daughter wants to throw it all away for love. Not throwing away, just choosing differently." "You really love her?" "More than I thought possible." Harrison was quiet for a long moment. "My father didn't approve of Charlotte. Said she was too rich, too soft, that she'd never understand our struggle. He was wrong. She made me better. So I'm not saying I approve, but I'm not going to lose my daughter over this." The next month was a careful dance. Deshawn was invited to family dinners, awkward affairs where Charlotte tried too hard, and Harrison said too little. But slowly, gradually, walls began to crack. The breakthrough came when Deshawn fixed Harrison's classic Mustang. The billionaire had dozens of cars, but couldn't get the '67 fastback to run properly. "It's the carburetor," Deshawn said, hands already under the hood. "Same problem my uncles had." They spent the afternoon in the garage, Deshawn teaching Harrison about engines, Harrison sharing stories about building his empire. When the car roared to life, Harrison actually smiled. "You know, I could use someone who understands logistics at the company. I won't take a handout." "Not a handout. An internship. Minimum wage, maximum hours. You'd be working harder than anyone." "Why?" "Because my daughter loves you. And because maybe I was wrong about some things." Veronica found them later, covered in grease, arguing about the Lakers. "What's happening here?" "Your boyfriend's telling me LeBron is better than Kobe." "He's lost his mind," Harrison said. But he was smiling. That night, as Deshawn was leaving, Harrison stopped him. "The thing about coming from nothing, it makes you hard, suspicious. You see threats everywhere because you know how easily it can all disappear. I get that. But Veronica's teaching me something, that maybe protecting her from everything means protecting her from living. She's stronger than you think. I'm beginning to see that. Don't hurt her, Deshawn." "I won't." "Good. Because I still know people who know people. It was a joke. Mostly. How's this story hitting you so far? Tell us in the comments. If you're loving it, type 1. If not, type 0. We want to know what you think." Deshawn's world had to accept Veronica too. His cousin Terrell was the hardest sell. "She's using you, bro. Rich white girl wanting to piss off daddy." "It's not like that. It's always like that." But Veronica showed up to Deshawn's nephew's birthday party in Inglewood with a homemade cake. She'd spent 3 days learning the recipe from YouTube. She sat on plastic chairs in the backyard, helped with dishes, played with the kids. "Your girl's all right," Terrell admitted later. "Still think you're crazy, but she's all right." The real test came when Deshawn's grandmother visited from Atlanta. Big Mama, as everyone called her, had lived through the civil rights era and had opinions about everything. "So you're the one got my grandbaby twisted," she said when Veronica arrived for Sunday dinner. "Yes, ma'am." "Don't ma'am me. I'm not that old." Big Mama studied her. "You know what you're asking him to give up?" "I'm not asking him to give up anything." "Sure you are. His community, maybe his family. Some of us won't understand. Some will call him names I won't repeat. I know. And what are you giving up? A life that was never really mine. Big Mama was quiet for a moment. Deshawn, go help in the kitchen. Big Mama, go. When they were alone, Big Mama leaned forward. I seen how he looks at you, like you hung the moon. Haven't seen him happy like this since his mama passed. I love him. Love ain't always enough. The world's cruel to people like you two. Maybe. But isn't it worth trying to change that? Big Mama smiled then. His mama would have liked you. She always said love was the only revolution that mattered. 6 months after the accident, at another Whitfield Foundation gala, Harrison clinked his glass for attention. I want to announce a new initiative, the Bridges Program, providing business education and startup funding for underprivileged entrepreneurs. The crowd murmured, confused by the name. It's named after Deshawn Bridges, who not only saved my daughter's life, but has shown me that talent and determination exist everywhere. We just have to be willing to see it. Deshawn stood frozen as the spotlight found him. Veronica squeezed his hand. Furthermore, Harrison continued, Deshawn will be heading this program after completing his degree next month, accelerated through a full scholarship he earned through his internship performance. The applause was scattered at first, then grew. Not everyone approved, but enough did. Later, on the same balcony where Harrison had threatened him, Deshawn found himself alone with Veronica. Your dad didn't have to do that. He wanted to. You've changed him, changed us all. You changed me too. Made me believe I could be more than just another warehouse statistic. You were always more. You just needed someone to see it. Deshawn pulled out a small box. About that, Deshawn. He dropped to one knee. Veronica Whitfield, you literally crashed into my life. You've shown me that love doesn't care about color or class or what anyone else thinks. You make me want to build something worthy of you. Will you marry me? The ring was modest, a simple solitaire he'd saved for months to afford. But Veronica's yes echoed across the balcony, drawing Charlotte and Harrison outside. Well, Harrison said, seeing them embracing, I suppose we should start planning a wedding. A small one, Deshawn said quickly. The hell it will be, Harrison grinned. My daughter's wedding will be the event of the decade. Daddy, Veronica warned. What? I'm a reformed snob, not a reformed show-off. The wedding was indeed spectacular, but it was the mix of guests that made headlines. Deshawn's family from Inglewood sitting next to Bel Air billionaires. Rosa serving her homemade salsa alongside 5-star catering. Big Mama and Charlotte planning the baby shower before the reception ended. In his speech, Harrison said something that went viral. I spent my life building walls. Between me and my past, between my family and anyone different. But watching Deshawn and Veronica taught me that walls don't protect us. They isolate us. Love doesn't see color. It doesn't check bank accounts. It just sees souls. And these two souls were meant to find each other, even if it took a car crash to make it happen. Deshawn's business launched 2 years later. Efficient, ethical logistics that treated workers as humans. Veronica ran the Bridges program, helping hundreds of entrepreneurs from underserved communities. They had 3 children who grew up understanding that love was stronger than prejudice. But that night, at their wedding, as they danced to Marvin Gaye, none of that mattered. They were just Deshawn and Veronica, 2 people who'd found each other against all odds and changed their worlds in the process. No regrets? Deshawn whispered. Only one. What? That SUV was really nice. He laughed, spinning her. I'll buy you another one someday. I don't need it. I have everything I need. The photographer captured them in that moment. A black man and a white woman, holding each other like nothing else existed, proving that love really could conquer all. The photo would hang in their home, then their children's homes, a reminder that sometimes the most beautiful things come from the most unexpected collisions. Love had won.